Okay, we're going to move on. This is a pretty big one here. CPD. This is a BEZ story and Chip Mitchell story. CPD strips powers from sergeant tied to cops who stole drug money in 2012. Okay. This is talking about Sergeant Lavin Jones. If there's one thing you can count on, ladies and gentlemen, is that the police accountability system in Chicago sucks. And they're slow as hell. And the police department is slow as hell to go after their people. So, let's go. We'll go to the quote. A Chicago police sergeant, we'll go to the article, sorry. A Chicago police sergeant who was on an elite citywide unit created by Superintendent David Brown, once again, they don't ever screen who gets those, could face discipline for his role in a narcotics arrest more than 15 years ago involving corrupt former Sergeant Ronald Watts, WBEZ has learned. Ronald Watts, he's in prison, I believe. We'll get to that, but he's had a lot of people exonerated by Foxx, taken out of jail or prison because he's a bad man. So it gets juicier. The article continues. Jones, who served for years on a tactical team led by Watts, that's right, years, would be the first CPD member to face discipline in the scandal since the former sergeant and officer Khalat Muhammad, hope I'm pronouncing that right, the first name, another member of his team, were arrested in 2012 for stealing what they thought was drug money from an FBI informant, according to COPA. Watts and Muhammad were sent to federal prison. But Jones, 10 months after his boss and teammate were arrested, was promoted to sergeant. He passed the test. And he scored high enough they probably didn't have a choice. Why didn't they strip him and investigate if he was involved in any of the Watts stuff? The promotion was based on a nomination by Fred Waller. It's going to connect back to a new superintendent in a minute, who oversaw the Watts team as Wentworth District Commander. Waller's supervisor at the time was Eddie Johnson, a deputy chief who became CPD's superintendent 3 years later and tapped Waller to oversee thousands of officers as patrol chief. That's right. God, the corrupt just keep rising in the CPD. Why is the department so screwed up? Because these corrupt people just keep rising to the top. The article continues. The Baker and Glenn cases were the first of 110 convictions linked to Watts' crew that judges have vacated. Okay? Those cases involved 87 exonerations. Most have since brought federal lawsuits against the city. They left that team on the street after they got Watts. They left those people that were working with him on the street. City and police officials, the article continues, looked the other way for years as allegations about the Watts unit piled up. Later, after Watts and Muhammad went to prison, a number of exonerees ballooned. City and police officials left more than a dozen former members of the unit on duty. When I say the department is broken, this is what I'm talking about. In 2018, however, Cook County State's Attorney Kim Foxx's office notified CPD that prosecutors would no longer call Jones and 9 other former Watts team members to testify in criminal cases due to concerns about their credibility. The 9 include Brian Dalton, Daryl Edwards, Robert Gonzalez, Manuel Liano, LaMonica Lewis, Douglas Nichols Jr., Calvin Rigel Jr., Jerome Summers, and Kenneth Young Jr. By then, Johnson was superintendent and Waller chief of patrol. Johnson insisted that Jones and other Watts team members remained fit for police duty. Broken. Brown continues the corruption, though. That approach to former Watts crew members on the force continued after Johnson's removal as superintendent. Last spring, around the time Brown took CPD reins, Nichols was promoted to detective, according to city records. That assignment came despite at least 45 criminal complaints about Jones since he started with the department in 1996. According to Citizens Police Patrol Data Project, a thing run by the Invisible Institute. Good site. Here's how it ends. Jones was found at fault in just one of those cases. 1 in 45. You think that doesn't mean the accountability system is broken, ladies and gentlemen, or what? Jones was found at fault in just one of those cases. A 1999 incident in which 4 bags of suspected crack cocaine were found in the backseat of a police vehicle after he and his partner used the vehicle to arrest a drug offender. They were both ordered a 1-day suspension. Yes. I mean, is that not proof that the police accountability system is broken? 45 complaints, only 1. That's slightly over 2%. 2.2%, 2.1%, 2.02%, something like that. Police accountability system broken. We need laws. We need ordinances. We need laws by the General Assembly to outlaw these things. Police policy just isn't working. It's amazing. The unit goes bad, they leave them all on the street. You're telling me that none of the people that were in that unit for all that long time, it was only those 2 people that were involved in all those wrongful convictions? It's mind-blowingly dumb. Mind-blowingly dumb. But this is part of the problem with the union contract, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is why we need to get either rid of it or shrink the department